So let's now leave the Prime Minister there addressing the media in Downing Street. RTUK's Eisa Ali is with me here in the studio. Eisa, lots from the Prime Minister, but all expected, of course, even though the Indian variant's spreading rapidly.
Yeah, absolutely. We have been seeing these worrying warnings really coming from some experts about the development and the emergence of that so-called variant from India, the Indian variant, and it's being accused of taking up or attributing more than half of the cases, the new cases in the country, to that strain. We can have a look at some of the numbers. The monitoring systems in place in the country have found that the number of cases of the Indian variant have risen from 202 new cases last week to 520 in the most recent week. And there are 48 clusters where this variant has been found, but experts say there isn't too much cause for fear and panic yet, because there's insufficient evidence that the new strain will not be combated by the vaccine programs, or that the vaccines won't work. But it is still a case of worrying, it was a point of worry for the government, because just under half of the cases have been linked to a traveller. So concerns that the rest of those cases are spreading through the country as it is. But in any case, again, the government hoping, as will experts, that the vaccines can have a strength to combat that strain. Now, of course, this all comes as the government has downgraded the threat level from COVID from 4 to 3, and it also coincides with the Prime Minister there. We just heard him speaking and also announcing the lifting of certain measures to come into effect next Monday. We can have a look at what some of those changes will mean for the country. Indoor hospitality will be opening once more. Of course, thus far, we've only had outdoor hospitality. Also, households will be allowed to mix. Up to 30 people will be allowed to attend weddings and funerals. And also, hugs will be allowed, albeit cautiously, with advice for people to continue to wear masks and to look away when they hug, and to also, of course, try to keep those hugs at a minimum. In any case, once the country does go through the process of opening up again, it will be a huge test of the efficacy of those much-touted vaccines, because we've heard Boris Johnson already say this year that he believes it's the lockdown and not the vaccines which have brought case numbers down. The next few weeks should tell us more.
Eisa, thank you very much indeed for that update. Well, I'm now joined by Senior Consultant in Communicable Disease Control at the University of Exeter, Dr. Bharat Pankania. Bharat, pleasure to see you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this afternoon. Well, we've just seen then the Prime Minister pushing ahead with the easing of lockdown, but big concerns about the Indian variant still continue. Is this wise? He even acknowledged the lethal potential of this virus.
We have to be very cautious, because we are not well until everyone is well. And what happens in India, Europe and elsewhere can also come to harm us in the United Kingdom. Therefore, we got to keep cautious and watchful of variants cancelling the good effects, the protective effects of the vaccines. At the moment, the evidence clearly shows that the Brazilian, the South African, the British, possibly the Indian variants are all susceptible and protected from the current vaccines. But that watchfulness is very important in case they stop being protective.
But can we really have this country in a protective bubble, bearing in mind we're now seeing a relaxation of travel, indeed to Europe?
No, we can never have this country in a protective bubble and think that we are all okay. We've got to make sure that our neighbours and the rest of the world, and we are a G7 country, therefore we assist. And we assist with what President Joe Biden has done with relaxing the patents on the vaccines, so that more can be manufactured in other parts of the world, so that more people can be immunized at pace. We've got to play our role on the global stage. It's very important.
So, Bharat, this message that you could hug family members, close friends with caution, would you rather prefer no hugs at all at this stage?
Well, I have answer and a solution to this, which is keep your network of friends that you are hugging to a small number, and make sure that the people you are hugging also have a network of small numbers. So small, confirmed, safe numbers is better than hugs galore. Hugs galore equals no control, no precautions.
And obviously the Prime Minister saying we must still adhere to social distancing rules, particularly with those who we don't know. But is there not now an element of a huge sigh of relief that the vaccines are rolling out and there's an element of complacency now?
Well, there's a sigh of relief, and what we mustn't do is drop our guard, because dropping our guard can result in the younger people who have not been immunized getting infected. But the other guard not to drop is to step up as a G7 nation and enable the suppression of infections in other parts of the world. It is our global duty to do so, and until we do that, we're not safe.
And we have the wherewithal to do that, do we not? With a number of vaccines in production, it's not a question of limited supplies.
No, it isn't. And it really is shroud waving when pharmaceutical companies and others say, oh, even if you relinquish and relax the patents, you can't do it. Well, if you really want to, you can. And here is an example. When the pharmaceutical companies got together with the HIV drugs, they achieved miracles. And similarly, if they get together and want it to happen, it can happen.
Bharat, you and I have been having very in-depth conversations over the last year on this. Will we still be sitting here in the autumn and still talking about COVID?
I think so. And my reasons are we in the richer nations have singularly failed to address the issue of no or minimal immunization in other parts of the world. We've got to do it. That is our job to do. Otherwise, we will be talking about it in autumn.
Dr. Bharat Pankhania, thank you very much indeed for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.